So they opened up with, for whatever reason that FTR is being punished, are they potentially the new lead characters in one of those Ryan Murphy, sorry sack of creepy, scary programs that don't make any sense, where they just can't get out of a horrible booking scenario wherever they go. They move from place to place. They're traveling gypsies, and everywhere it's like, how can we with these guys? They were forced to compete against the plumber Moxley and poor old Claudio Castagnoli, who at this point is he wallpaper, or is he one of those garden statues that the bushes have grown up and you don't really notice it anymore?
I think he's the same as he's always been. Someone that a lot of people in the business really love his work, but he's, he doesn't stand out.
Well, I mean, he's been painted over, I think, in the corner. It's just stuck with this fucking goof and this nowhere gimmick, and you never hear. They used to like when he did the swing. He doesn't do the swing, and Jerry, there's no swing. But anyway, I'll say it briefly. Every time that Moxley is in with a real professional wrestler, it's aggravating to me because guys who have talent have to tolerate doing the shit that this bald, pale, broken down trailer trash acting like he's fucking a member of the Gracie family likes to do to prove he's a badass when everybody with eyes is seeing a clumsy, awkward, fake looking
Moxley Gracie.
He was the black sheep of the family. He was the son of Eleanor Gracie. Eleanor Gracie had the baby that would become the plumber one day. Hoist went away. All right. So Moxley at one point tried to drop behind on a vertical suplex. I can't remember if it was Dax or Cash, but they were just like holding him there waiting for him. Please just drop on behind. They had him and he just fell on his ass. And he continues to work like your unemployed uncle that sells weed, getting into a fight at a family picnic. So,
well, I mean, if you sell weed, technically you're self-employed, I would imagine.
Well, you I guess have an independent contractor classification in some states now.
Those are always the most pathetic people, the weed dealers who somehow don't make any money.
Yeah.
Then you could say they're unemployed. They're just losers.
If you're going to be goddamn selling illegal, illicit, or otherwise substances that may get you time boarding with the warden on the bounty of the county, you could be living the high life over it, driving the Maserati and what, being the player with the bitches and whole whatever the young people do these days. Instead out there like a fucking weirdo sitting on a teeter-totter with you're teetering, but nobody's there to totter you. So Moxley gave a cold tag to Claudio, and Claudio made a comeback. Are the BBC the baby faces, but FTR are not heels? They're baby. Well, they've cooled off significantly. They were raving baby faces before they were beaten like your fucking grandmother's rug.
The BCC are definitely heels.
Well, then they made a comeback, and the fucking baby faces fed and bumped for them. And then 15 minutes into the goddamn show, we go to break. And then they came back, and then they did simultaneous cold tags, and Cash made a comeback. So they switched in mid-match, and I figured out a gimmick for Moxley. Instead of the plumber or having a tool belt or whatever that would make up for his fucking... I've seen people with a sunken chest before, but he has a sunken fucking torso. Everything is sunken from his chest to his goddamn abdomen. Anyway, you put him in green scrubs, right? And one of those fucking green caps and everything, and put a fucking name tag bracelet on him, right? One of those white things has your information, and make him a guy from a state home that walked away after getting too many shock treatments. And now he's come to the wrestling promotion, and one of the managers snatches him up.
I don't know if that would work in 2024. That might be a problem. Escape mental patient?
Well, goddamn, maybe he's been gone for a while. See, time has passed him by.
What if he did like a Sid Barrett? Like he shows up again in 4 years and he's fat and bald.
How would you tell the difference?
Well, he's not fat.
And he's bald enough to compensate for that. He looks fat, even though he's fucking emaciated, because what is there is not delineated in any way. Anyway, they did the call for 5 minutes remaining. And so now they're going to do this. The criticism that we levied apparently has been heard on this small thing and ignored on major points. But here is what the spot they did, where Dax and Cash, they have a wonderful double team move where Dax does the superplex and Cash does the splash off the top, and they land bang bang, right? Very 80s tag teamy, very Midnight Express-y, very Heart Foundation-y, very whatever the fuck.
You talking about the superplex spot?
The superplex.
That's Power and Glory. That's Power and Glory. That was their finishing move.
Well, there you go. They did it too. But it's a very reminiscent of an 80s tag team, well, which they were, that, the double team maneuvers that all the tag teams were noted for. And this fucking guy decides he's going to kill their fucking move because he's an idiot. Do you know what? If Dax gave Moxley a superplex, right? And how long is it usually after they land before Cash lands with the splash?
It's usually pretty quick right after. They time it pretty well.
Bam, bam, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So think about this now that I'm breaking it down for you. Dax gives Moxley the superplex, and as soon as they land, Moxley raises his knees so that Cash lands on his fucking knees and Cash hurts himself. The guy that was given a superplex off the top rope and was smashed down into the middle of the fucking ring off the top rope by this goddamn guy's superplex, within less than 1 second was so unfazed by it, I'll just raise my knees and catch this other motherfucker. Boom. And then Tanyan gets up and starts hitting him with phony elbows. How much? What? Where is the logic in that? How could that be a thing that you would ever think? And why did FTR tolerate it if it was called ahead of time, which apparently it was, or elsewise Cash would have squashed him?
Well, this whole match seemed to be like a battle between FTR trying to work a wrestling match and Moxley only wanting to work the Moxley match.
Wanting to chew on somebody's face or kiss them.
Sell nothing. Really do very little to sell anything or put anything over. And then Claudio gets into the mix and now he sells nothing too.
Well, he can't let his fucking, emaciated little partner look better than he does with that body. So he's, now it's a skyscrapers thing. Only one guy is not scraping the sky. He's scraping the bottom of the barrel. So it turned into a constant four-way. At one point, Dax and Claudio broke out into a girls' slap fight. And then FTR go for the shatter machine on Moxley, I believe it was. And the bell rings as they're about to give it. And so Dax holds up and they don't give it to him. And it's a 20-minute draw. So now I guess what they're going to do is they're going to reinforce the idea. We talked about the criticism, but that you call it and then you end at 1930 or whatever. They're going to make sure everybody knows whenever they hear the time call, it's a draw.
You had to say something, and now they're doing this nonstop.
Yeah. But anyway, everybody sat there for a while, and the fans were pissed, and then all four of them got in a sloppy fight, and the security and the agents separated them, and they had to pull apart. And, we were almost half an hour into the show at this point. But I just can't. Moxley is unwatchable. And it's funny at this point if you didn't feel bad for some of his opponents on a professional level, which I do.
I don't know how much I could add to that. I didn't like the match because it seemed like it was too much of a struggle between styles. Moxley and Claudio could have been strong while working a match, but it's just, I don't know. They're too much in their own. Moxley's too much in his own head. And, physique-wise, because you brought it up earlier, wanting to be a tough guy, actually being a tough guy, and looking like a tough guy are three different things.
And you need to try to have 2 out of the 3, don't you?
You do. And I don't know. I don't see it. And FTR always looks like shit. They make it so that a team that got itself over in spite of the bad booking, with a few changes like new Midnight Express music and getting rid of Tully Blanchard and being used a little better, get themselves over to become the most popular tag team in the company over the EVPs, which upset plenty of people. They get a couple runs as tag team champions. They hold multiple titles in other companies, apparently, too. They re-signed their contract. They had those classic matches or that one specifically with Juice and Jay White.
Well, what they did with the Briscoes, just not in AEW, but in front of the world on, the internet was.
And then the House of Black started kicking the shit out of them. I never saw what resolution there was there. They chased me off before I could see that on Collision. Now they're on Dynamite. The BCC's kicking the shit out of them. Tully, I know they love Tully and Arn. Like, Tully and Arn never just got the shit kicked out of them week after week. Like the Midnight Express, it happened to them once when Paulie and the Midnight Express came. Like, it wasn't just like one program into another of laying there because you got your ass kicked. I don't understand why they book FTR like that. I don't understand any of this.
And I want to know what Dax's singles record is. They're big statisticians there in that company. What is Dax's singles record for the entire time that he's been in AEW, and what is Cash's singles record?
And how come we don't see more of Cash? Because whenever you lose the thought that, sometimes you could be like, man, Dax is really good. And then you start watching Cash, you're like, man, I think Cash might be even fucking better.
That's what I'm saying. But it's Dax that is in all the singles matches and loses every single one of them. And you never see Cash, and he's phenomenal as well. And he's probably at home if he's listening to this now. Shut the fuck up.
He's shooting his gun in the air. Pew, pew, pew,
no,
pew.
hey, I
don't like this. Pew.
But that's then if they do that, then they'll bring him in and beat him like a goddamn drum too. But come
Cash
on
Wheeler's
now.
In the house. Duck.
Hey, Pillman, come on now, watch out. But you know what I mean is the only thing they split him up in singles, and Dax is always the one that does a job at every match, and then they get the shit kicked out of him as a tag team most of the time.
You could talk about whatever with the AEW booking, specifically with tag teams. They don't know how to get over tag team feuds, and they cut the Jay White Juice Robinson thing off at the knees, and now look at it. Juice Robinson's out. Has Jay White done anything that matters since then? Not really.
Well, he's in the Gangbang Scissor clan.
Well, more about them later. They had a wonderful weekend as well.
Oh, boy. All right. Well, let's move on from poor FTR